It's the A-Guards. This is a 1971 Moto Guzzi Ambassador. And when I went recently on YouTube to find a video to show how to adjust the valves, I got one video, only one. So we're going to do a little instructional. So on these Guzzis, the intake takes a .0039 and the exhaust side is a .0078. So we're gonna go through getting it to top dead center, and then we've got our feeler gauges here. This is for the intake, this is for the exhaust. This is a 003 and this is a 004. Here we got a 007 and a 008, and of course those are in inches. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is take the spark plugs out. We're going to take the plugs out so we can find top dead center. Now of course this is the left side, so we can actually find it with looking on the pulley side here, but we'll get to that in just a second. It's a good idea to take your cover off. You can actually do it if you know what you're doing without the cover, but it's a good way to use it as a measurement tool. Alright, so I've got both the spark plugs out. Okay. Alright. And now we're going to rotate the engine. So I've got my adjustable wrench, and the motor turns this way. So as you look at the front of the motor, we're going to turn clockwise, okay? So we are going to make an adjustment, and right at this point I'm just going to watch the valves move. As I turn it, what I'm looking for is I'm going to look for, okay, we've got exhaust moving. I'm actually going to wait for the intake valve to lift on its own. We've got both valves moving, so we're not anywhere near where we need to be, okay? We got an intake. Okay. Alright. So now we're going to keep moving it. You need to be on the compression stroke, so it's going to suck in the intake here, and then it's going to close the intake, and that's when you're going to put your finger over the spark plug hole. Takes just a little bit. There's the intake starting to open. Now what you want to do is get your we're going to put our finger over the hole, and you get really close here and you can hear once the intake valve closes here, you'll notice as the piston comes back up, the intake valve is now closing. You got your finger over the hole. Can you hear it? I'll do it again. The air is coming out. That means the piston's coming up and both your valves are closed. Okay. And once you start to feel that, your piston's coming up now. If you want to come over here, Alec, and show them this, right up here in the front of the motor, you can see, sorry about the moving around here, but your notches on your pulley will line up with the arrow that's right behind this belt, and you'll be at top dead center. Alright, so I made myself a little tool here, and I insert it gently into the spark plug hole, and I just want to use it as a guide. I actually like to use a straw. This is a very thin piece of metal. Now you can see as I turn the motor over, it's going to come, the little piece of metal here is going to come up. Can you see it rising? And this is going to correspond with the mark on the pulley and the arrow. So when we get all the way up to the top, we'll know that mark's over there on the arrow, and now it's time to adjust the valves. So we have intake, all right, you can wiggle it a little bit, you know you're in the right. So we got 003 and 004. here's your adjusting nut if you need to. These are already adjusted, but you can see, take one, little loose, but the setting for this is 0.0039, so 004 is a little bit tight, so that's perfect. Now we're over here on the exhaust. We're at 007 on this one, a little bit loose, but the setting is 0.0078, and this is a 008, and it's a little bit tight there. So this side is adjusted. When you need to adjust the valves, you loosen the nut here and you make the adjustment on this adjuster right here. One point is you can buy, these are 13 millimeter. If you buy 11 millimeter nuts, they won't round off like this. So to do the other side, you just keep the motor turning over. You can make a little tool for yourself when you get done. But basically you just want to keep turning it over, watch for the intake valve to rise and then fall. Put your finger over the spark plug hole, start to feel that air escaping, and then you can use your tool to make sure you're at top dead center. You should get a little bit of a wiggle to make sure you're in the right compression stroke. All right, and that's it. That's valve adjustment for a Moto Guzzi loop frame.